Hello, happy September, and welcome to Happily Ever Reality, where I talk about my favorite reality TV shows and the stars in them. Today I'm really excited, and it's probably because this is the reason I want to start the channel anyway, and it's because I love the Brown family on Sister Wives. This last season was just really good. I felt like we really got to see what the family was truly like. So let's just go ahead and jump into episode 1. So the show starts out by giving us a little glimpse into what the previous season had been like and where the family is right now. And man, it was just really good. It showed exactly where the tension was and what kind of things were going on in the family. So go ahead and give this a listen and let me know what you think.
Previously on Sister Wives.
I think life's gotten really easy for us, and we all go home to our little houses and we complain about somebody.
We all have to decide what we really want. Do you want to have a relationship with your sister wife?
Maybe there are some of us who are like, look, I don't want it anymore.
So I think that right there makes it clear that there's already a lot of issues with the dynamics in the family, which isn't surprising. I think the show started out that way. If you go back to season 1 and watch when Robin's joining the family, there's already issues. But it just seems so clear now. And the family starts out this episode at Coyote Pass having what appears to be some sort of like Sister Wives staff meeting. And I say that because Kody actually decides to like end the meeting in a way that seemed very official. But while they're out there at Coyote Pass, they are definitely having like a lot of emotional moments. Christine is, because she just wants to go back to Utah. That's where she feels she's going to be the happiest. But when you're a part of a family where there's all these other wives, what you want doesn't necessarily matter if no one else wants it. And Christine has to kind of come to terms with that. I do think it's interesting when they're sitting out there. Christine actually says, we aren't building on the property. And she kind of like implies that no one else is admitting that, but she's able to. I think that's interesting because they're going out there and talking about it all the time. And as a viewer, I would think they're really building on it. But Christine hints that these homes are not even going to be a reality. But she also says something super important here. She says, I can't do marriage with Kody anymore. And she tells that to Mary. And during one of the confessional moments, she says that they do not hold hands, they don't touch, and she feels really sad. So we're getting a glimpse of what's to come with Mary, or not with Mary, but that is true about Mary, right? But that's Christine, who's saying that she's not holding his hand, and there's not really a lot of love in their relationship as far as like physical touch or romantic moments. But it's true about Mary too, and they actually talk about that. Christine says that she knows Mary's been through a lot, and Mary can recognize where Christine is at in this marriage. So we start off just seeing the crux, and we see Christine, I think, feel like genuine sadness. She wants to go be near her family, but no one else is wanting to do that with her. So after the staff meeting at Coyote Pass, we see Kody go to Janelle's house to talk to her more about why she doesn't want to go back to Utah. And the reality is Janelle is just wanting to live somewhere where she's happy. She likes Flagstaff. She doesn't want to go back to Utah. And she pretty much says, if you guys go, I'm not going. And then Kody refers to 2 of his wives as princesses who are giving ultimatums. And I'm being nice when I say it. He sounds very resentful when he says it. And it's really annoying to me because what he needs to realize is these women are 2 adult human beings who deserve to live lives where they're happy with where they're at, with who they're with the location of their homes. Most people in relationships, even though you're only compromising with 2 people. This situation, to me, they're not being spoiled. They're trying to be happy. But, I don't think Kody sees it that way. He just sees them as 2 princesses trying to get their way. And we also see Janelle and Cody's relationship. Even when they're standing there talking about their house or her house, it seems like they're friends. It seems like a very friendly relationship. So Janelle's happy. She's in her garden. She's having a good life, and she is not going to Utah with Christine. After this scene at Janelle's house, we jump into the COVID issue. And I have to keep reminding myself when I'm watching this, it's several months after COVID has first began. So, back in March, we all started talking about COVID. People started quarantining. We're now heading into the fall, and they're having their second Sister Wives staff meeting. And they're all sitting 6 feet apart, which is kind of crazy to me. I know everyone handles it different, but they are family. They're all supposed to be married to each other, but they're sitting 6 feet apart outside, and Kody is starting to talk about how everyone in his family is handling COVID, and that's when he says this right here.
But we've kind of gotten to a place where not everybody's in agreement. Christine has done some traveling. It's also led to Janelle's boys having social lives, and it's kept me from being at Janelle's house as much.
So we can tell right there, Kody is really unhappy with Janelle's boys because they're going out and being social. And after that, we get a glimpse into what's going on with Mary. And Mary says he never comes over. He never comes to her home. It's very rare that Kody stops by because of COVID. And I just think that's really, really sad. I think Mary deserves more. During COVID, we were all quarantining in our homes. And if this is true, she was essentially alone. And she's married, and she should have this huge family. If anything, he should have been going over there more. But really, why couldn't Mary have went and lived with Robin during this? Then he just would have went to that home, and she would have been able to have socialized with Robin and her children. And Mary's relationship with Robin is different from the relationship that Janelle and Christine have with Robin. Mary really appears to like her and get along with her really well. So I don't understand why Mary's by herself. And then next we see Kody going to talk to Robin about how she feels about moving to Utah. And she really says something that I think is important. She really lets him know how she feels. And it's something I think most of us can relate to. This family has moved a lot. They went from Utah to Vegas to Flagstaff in a sort of short amount of time. These are big moves. They're not small moves. They're not moving just an hour away or down the street. That's a lot for a family to not have roots and be settled. And I can understand why Robin doesn't want to move to Utah. And this is what she says. And I think this is fair. This is something I actually agree with Robin on.
I wish we could just settle down. We're here. We're in Flagstaff. It's beautiful. You guys are okay moving all the time, constantly, I guess.
I'm
really
so
frustrated that we're constantly bringing up, where should we go? I'm like, we got to find a place and make it home.
No, I'm okay. I want you to understand. Christine brought this up. I wanted to be more fair with her.
I really validate it. I get it.
It was where I always wanted to move in the first place.
I really validate and get why she wants to, because I want to too, but I cannot indulge that desire. I just can't.
So I think what Robin said was fair. I think not wanting to move is natural after you've moved a few times. You kind of want to settle down. But what I do think is really interesting is how Kody talks to Robin in this scene. His facial expression, it's like he's very concerned about her. He's soft-spoken. His voice is much softer. I don't see him speak to the other wives like that. It's really different. He talks to her in a way that is different from the way he speaks to the other wives. He seems very concerned about her. I don't hear that voice or always get that feeling when he's talking to Janelle, Mary, or Christine. And then at the end of the show, we see them back at Coyote Pass, and they're trying to really create property lines for each of the wives. I do think it's interesting if you look at the picture, the properties are really different sizes, and there's clearly conflict. These women are not, seeing this happening the same way. And Christine kind of points out that she thought it would be like when they were in Vegas and it was on a cul-de-sac, and the way they're doing it feels very isolating and very separated. And I thought that was a bit surprising because they've all been very resistant to living together. But Christine does seem to want to be closer to the wives than they are right now. She ends the show really letting us know how she feels.
I thought we were going to try and build the cul-de-sac again like we had in Vegas and like have the 4 houses like right there kind of close to each other. It just sounds really separate. And I think it's kind of sad, to be honest, you know? But I'm just not interested anymore.
So Christine tells us she's over it, and I can completely understand that. It seems to me that anyone who's talked about where they're going to move, where they're going to live, and their housing situation this often and for this long would be over it. I think she might be expressing how they all feel about talking about building on Coyote Pass. But I think with Christine, it's a little further, and she's kind of over all of it. I think she's really at this point feeling like she's over plural marriage. And I can understand that. She wants to be with her family. Her kids are getting older. She has said at the end of this episode, they're all moving to Utah. Why would she want to stay there in Flagstaff by herself in a marriage that's not working for her? So that's where she ends it in this episode. That's where they're all left, still talking about where to live and their marriage problems. So that is all for episode 1. Stick around and you can hear my recap of episode 2. Thanks for watching at Happily Ever Reality.